Hello everyone, my name is Rahul Kumar Sharma. Today again I am with you with a very brand new video on Python advanced topics. In previous videos, starting from part 1 to part 8, I have covered all the Python basic concepts. All my Python videos are created keeping in the mind the data science and artificial intelligence machine learning concepts. The, this video is also have been created keeping the concept of the same artificial intelligence concept. So mostly the topics have been covered related to the machine learning and data science. These are just basic things so that the things should be in your brain when I will come to the machine learning videos and machine learning exercise. That time you will not struggle to understand what is this basic thing, NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn, and many more things are there. So I want you that go through the videos and learn all the topics. Also go to the Google, search each of the topic and what is the use of these things which I'm explaining you. I'm trying to clear your doubts and I'm trying to explain the concept in a better way. But still, if you are unable to understand something, search on Google, put comment, I will definitely reply you. Before starting this video, if you have not gone through my previous videos, just go through starting from 1 to 8. I promise you, you will understand the whole basic concept of the Python. If basic concept will be clear, you will understand the advanced concept of the Python. So without further ado, and I will show you what topics I'm going to cover in today's video. Let me clarify. I'm going to cover 10 topics in today's video. First is NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib and Seaborn. Both are used for the data visualization. Scikit-Learn, TensorFlow and PyTorch, Flask and Django, Beautiful Soup and Scrappy. This is used for the web scraping. OpenCV and PyTest and Unitest, SQL Alchemy. So these are the topic which I'm going to cover in this video. Let me share my screen. So guys, these are the topics which I have explained to you just now, and these topics will be the part of today's video. Just try to understand the basic things about these topics because I know these topics cannot cover in one video. Each of the topic itself has a big theory behind it and required a lot of time. So keep in your mind what I'm going to cover in the video and remember the names and the use of those particular libraries, so that in future once I will start the series of machine learning, you will easily understand the points. So first I'm going to tell you NumPy, numerical computation. Numerical computation, basically in machine learning and data science, we usually calculate the data which are the mathematical calculations, and those calculations cannot complete it without the external libraries. So Python is sufficient, but Pythons can be advanced using some advanced libraries like NumPy, Pandas, Seaborn. I'm going to explain one by one. So these libraries will enhance the Python to especially for the computational power and make the programming fast and very efficient or optimize coding. NumPy basically is a powerful library. Just read the definition: for numerical computation in Python. It provides support for multi-dimensional array, linear algebra, Fourier transformation and random number generation. So these are the basic features of NumPy. I would like to explain further. Let's suppose we have array, list, set, everything we have read in the Python. But NumPy have some advantage. Once you will compare, let's suppose you are taking a huge list and you are using Python methods, and you will use the NumPy also for the same thing. You will see there is a huge difference in the output. Output will be quick and fast using the NumPy, but you will use the Python function, that will be little slow. So, and also when we come to the complex calculations, that time NumPy definitely help us. In this example, I'm just importing library NumPy as NP and creating the NumPy array here, np dot array 1 2 3 4 5. and I'm just printing the array so that we can just understand how we can create the array in the NumPy. So this array will create here. After that, I will just do the mean, standard deviation, reshape, all these things using the NumPy inbuilt functions. So these are the NumPy's inbuilt function, and we can definitely take the advantage of the inbuilt functions. Let me run this code for you. Before running the code, let me cut this code so that first I will show you the how array will come in using the NumPy. So I have taken value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and array have been printed here. Now I just want to paste this code. So how we can do the mean of all the values. Mean, you can understand sum of all the values and divide by number of values, that is called mean. Standard deviation, reshaping, how we can, the detailed concept related to mean, median, standard deviation, reshaping, all these I will explain you into the machine learning videos. Just try to understand how we are doing these operations in the NumPy. Here array, which I already showed you, mean of these values 3, standard deviation is this one 1.4.1, whatever number it is, and reshape array basically here we are reshaping 1 comma 5. Let me do one thing, I will make it 2 comma 5. Will it work? No, because this particular array has only 5 values, but I'm passing 2 comma 5, that's why it will not work. Let me change it to 3. Will it work? Answer is no. So we cannot reshape this one. Let's suppose I'm adding one more value here, 6. Now I want to make divide it 2 comma 3. Will it work? Yes, answer is yes. So what I am doing here, reshaping the array 2 comma 3. So 2 rows and 3 columns. So easily I can split the array into the 2 rows. 1, 2, 3 numbers will be here and 5, 6, 4 numbers will be there. So easily I have reshaped this particular array. Next, move to the Panda, data manipulation. In the data manipulation, Panda play extremely crucial role. So like series, so for I have given the example of array, the same thing I can do in Pandas. But Pandas can also support two-dimensional array, which is called like matrix format of data. We can easily handle using the Panda library. So this one which I showed you, this is one-dimensional array. If I split it, this is called two-dimensional array. Okay, let's move to the, and what are the use of Pandas? How we will do these operations in the Pandas, I'll explain in the video. Import Panda, very simple, like we have imported other libraries, import this one. Import Panda, after that data is equal to name and whatever name I'm passing here. So basically what I'm doing, trying to make it, I'm trying to create a data frame. Data frame, it can support x and y axis, which is called two-dimensional data. So here this is just one row, this is second row, this is third row in the data, and I'm putting this data into the data frame. This is just a object which can hold two-dimensional data frame. I will print this thing. First let me cut this code and I will show you how it is working. See, name, age, salary, it is coming into the matrix format. So data frame is easily handle matrix format, or I would say like two-dimensional data. Now let me show you other features of Pandas. Here how we can use the mean function. So mean function, as I showed you, mean function in NumPy also is available and Pandas also. So mostly the maximum calculations are available in the Pandas as well as in NumPy, same calculations. But where to use NumPy, where to use Pandas, we need to think about it. Let's suppose I'm talking about the data frame. So data frame play very crucial role into the model data preparation, in exploratory data analysis and data cleansing. So we can use the Pandas, but similar operations we can use in NumPy also. Okay, come to the point. So mean, I need to calculate mean of the age. After that, I need to check the salary is greater than this one. So what does it mean? I'm using data frame and again data frame of the salary. So basically, so what is happening? Just focus on this particular part. So data frame salary. So this portion will take only this particular array. Okay, this data frame salary, this particular column will come using this one and is greater than this particular value, that particular things will filter here. I will show you. First I will show you the mean. Let me cut it. How the mean is working. Mean is 30. So mean of this particular array 30, 30, 25, 30 and 35, what will be the average value? Average and mean both are same thing, always keep in mind. Now I'll show you filter. So I want to filter on the salary. Salary 55,000, greater than 55,000. So here 50,000, 60,000, 70,000. Let me show you how it will work. Perfect. See, the salary have been filtered, entire data frame, whichever records have salary greater than 55,000 have been filtered here. And the salary, let's suppose if I want to change this value, let's suppose 60, I want to make it 60, 60,000, greater than 60,000. So only one value will come here, 70. Perfect. So this is for the numerical calculations. We will use NumPy and Pandas. Now let's move to the Matplot and Seaborn libraries. These libraries is amazing library in data science. Guys, always remember, data science cannot complete without data visualization, because we have huge data. We cannot see the data. We cannot check in the table format. We have to see the data into the visualization, like into the plots, scatter plot, bar chart, pie chart, sunburst chart, and so many types of charts are there. Using those charts, we have to understand the data. What types of data we have? Let's suppose we have two types of data. One is the negative comments and positive comments. We can split the data using two bars so that we can understand how many comments are positive, how many are the negative. And this is just one example. There might be multiple categories. So we can use the bar chart. Let's suppose there are 10 categories. We can use the 10 bar, and easily we can understand our data, data format, no, not sorry, format, data types, and how many groupings are there into the data. All these things we can easily understand using the Matplotlib and Seaborn. I will tell you where to use Matplotlib and where to use Seaborn. Matplotlib is a library, just focus on the definition, to create statistic, animated and interactive visualization. And what is then Seaborn? Built on Matplotlib. So basically Seaborn is built on top of the Matplotlib to provide high level interface for statistical graphics. So Seaborn has some advanced features, and Matplotlib is, by the way, sufficient, but Seaborn has so many advanced features like pair plot and all these things we can create using the Seaborn. Features I have mentioned here: line plot, scatter plot, bar plot. You might be confused, what is the line plot, scatter plot, bar plot. I will explain you each of the thing. Heat map, Boolean plot and pair plot using the Seaborn. Pair plot, this definition, just focus on this one, where to use the pair plot, because pair plot is a very basic plot, and this is extremely used into the data science, data cleansing and feature engineering. So basically pair plot highlights the trends, clusters, outliers and potential correlation. So basically in the machine learning, we always check the correlation between the features. If there is more correlated values, then we have to eliminate one feature. If the if the correlation is minimum, so in this case we have to keep both the features. So this kind of operations we have to do into the feature engineering, but just try to understand right now. Feature engineering in details I will explain into the machine learning series. Matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. So this is, as I have showed you in the Python basic, I'm just taking the calling the module pyplot as PLT. I have created this object, and Seaborn as SNS. Here this portion is for the Matplotlib. What I am doing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 20, 25 and 30, label is equal to line. So what I am going to do here, I am just drawing the line. So just think mathematically, this is x-axis, this is y-axis, and what I am going to draw, line. Title I am putting here, legend should also come default, and I am going to show it. Let me cut this particular thing which is related to the Seaborn. Now this is only the Matplot related things. How this will work, I will show you. So they see, can you imagine how quickly this graph have been generated using this 4 lines of code. Plot x-axis, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and y-axis starting from 10 to 30, 10 to 30 on the y-axis. Title line plot, it came easily here. Next is legend, legend came here, and I am just show function will use to show the graph on the screen. Now let me show you one more thing. Let me insert one more line so that I can show Seaborn in a separate one. So this is for the Seaborn. As I mentioned initially, Seaborn run on the top of the Matplotlib. So here I'm using the same plot.show, but some extra features are there. I'm going to create here what plot, just see. SNS, this one is there, already there, and style ticks, and load dataset, iris dataset I'm going to load. Guys, this dataset, iris dataset, is inbuilt dataset into these libraries, and we can directly get the data. So we don't, let's suppose we are doing practice, so like right now we are doing the practice, so we don't need to use the external data. There are so many types of data: iris data, housing data, cancer disease data, and also many types of data are available. We just need to pass the name of the data set, and the data set will be available into the object. Pair plot I'm going to create here. Iris hue is equal to species. So basically in this data, before showing this graph, I want to show you the data set. Let me cut this particular thing, and I will show you iris, sorry, iris dot head. First I will show you, let's suppose 10 records. So how this is going to be here, this one done. Now I'm going to show you 10 records. So 10 records in the data are like that. Okay, now in the next line I'm going to show you the plot, but before running the plot, just try to understand the data. So there are total 5 columns: sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width, and species. Species are of Setosa, 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 all are Setosa, but yes, of course there are multiple type of species. We will understand from the plot what types of species are there into the data. Okay, guys, focus on this particular thing. This is amazing. See, just 2 lines of code will show you entire data in different plots. It can be histogram, it can be scatter plot, and you can easily understand what types of data we have in our database. See, just run this one. It is running, still running, and oh wow. So this data: sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width, and here sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width, and here you can see species Setosa, versicolor, virginica. So 3 types of species are there: blue, orange, green. We can easily check here the data distribution. So in our data set, we have 3 types of data: species Setosa, versicolor, virginica. So these 3 are, see, let's suppose if I talk about sepal length, okay, and sepal length. So basically 3 types of, this is just area chart. We are covering from here to here. Mostly this distribution is for the Setosa, and orange color, this is starting from here to here. This distribution is for the versicolor, and virginica is the last one, which is starting from this point, and it is going till here. So this area chart will show you how the data have been distributed for these 3 species. Scatter plot, there are 3 types of same color, and here we are comparing sepal length and sepal width. So for sepal length and width, sepal length, this one, and sepal width, so these 2 columns will be used to create this scatter plot. So guys, see, you would be surprising what is the use of this display. Here we can check. Let's suppose in this case, if I want to tell you one thing, I want to classify this data. Let's suppose in this case, or I would say like I want to cluster this data. By the way, this is labeled data, so we will definitely classify this data. So in this case, I can check like what should be the threshold. If some spike values are going out, we have to eliminate those spike values, and we need to create a threshold till that particular value we can take into the data to train our machine learning model. Okay, so just this is just basic understanding take from this graph, how the graphs are working with the Seaborn and Matplotlib libraries, but detailed discussion will be in the machine learning series. Scikit-Learn, this library is used to use the machine learning libraries, and these mathematical libraries are into the Scikit-Learn, but that is not only enough. I'll come to the point. Scikit-Learn is a library for machine learning in Python, provide tools for classification, regression, clustering, and dimensionality reduction. Okay, so just here focus on this coding part. Scikit-Learn, again the Scikit-Learn, I have to import the import the modules from the Scikit-Learn library. Like this is dataset. I am just loading again iris dataset. Scikit-Learn model selection. This will be for the model selection and training, testing split, and last is this is the model which we are going to use. And I'm in the very first, just to show how the machine learning works, I'm using ensemble learning, random forest classification. I will tell you all the details. This is very big library, and one full lecture will be required to complete random forest classification. Just focus how the machine learning works. This entire 4-5 lines of code will show you everything in the machine learning, which is basic, but how the machine learning works. So you have imported these 3 packages. After that, you are taking the data from iris database, which will come to this particular object. What I'm doing in the next line, there are 4 separate variables: xtrain, xtest, ytrain, ytest, and this function train test split will split the data. This is coming from this object data.iris.target, test size is equal to 0.2, random state is equal to 42. Focus on this particular thing. Test size 2.0 means we are dividing the data, we are splitting the data in 2 parts. One will have the test size, which is 20%, 0.2 means 20%, and the 80% part will go to the training part. So we are going to divide the data in 2 parts, training and testing. So basically in this one, what I'm doing, I'm just loading the data, iris data, and after that this particular line. So what is happening here, iris data will be loaded using the dot data function and iris.target, and I'm dividing test size to test size 2 means the 20% will go to the test data set, and the rest of the data will go to the training data set, which is 80%. So 80% and 20%, I'm just splitting the data in random forest. So what will happen, let me show you one thing. This one, random forest classifier, this is a machine learning library, machine learning algorithm, which will basically require testing data and training data. So first training data to train the algorithm. So just this is my training data and this is my testing data. Training data I'm just passing to fit the model, and after that I'm just passing testing data, and testing data will give how much accuracy we have in our model. And the maximum accuracy means maximum accuracy. There might be so many reasons like overfitting and all, but we will come to those points later. Just try to understand how the machine learning works. We are splitting the data, training the algorithm and testing the algorithm. That's it. Let me run this program. Model accuracy is 1.0. This is called 100% accuracy. The reason is this data is very this data is very cleaned data and accurate data. That's why we can see the accuracy is 100%. In most of the cases, accuracy come less than 100%. 100% accuracy means everything is 100% perfect, which is almost impossible in case of prediction, but sometimes it's possible. Okay, let's move to the TensorFlow and PyTorch thing. TensorFlow, open source library for the deep learning and numerical computation. So basically I have explained you Scikit-Learn and what is the difference in Scikit-Learn, TensorFlow and PyTorch. When we go to the complex calculations, then sometimes Scikit-Learn unable to handle those things or take lot of time. So in this case, we use TensorFlow and PyTorch. The reason behind it is TensorFlow and PyTorch can also support GPU. So I mentioned some support for the GPU acceleration. This is one of the reason that mostly in case of deep learning, because deep learning required lot of computational power, so we use TensorFlow or PyTorch. Just understand the syntax of TensorFlow and PyTorch here. tf dot constant, I'm just for example in the Python, how we were declaring the variable a is equal to value, b is equal to value, and we were just adding or subtracting whatever. But here we have to use TensorFlow tf dot constant and tf dot constant 3. So a means 2 and b means 3. I'm just adding it. Same thing with the PyTorch. This is syntax. Torch is coming from import torch, tensor 1 2 3, and d type is equal to torch.float. So basically this is float type, and I'm just printing this one. So let me run this program, how it will work. So in this program you can see still output is not there. Yes, so TensorFlow addition, TensorFlow 5. So here what I'm doing, I'm just summing two values, 3 plus 5. So 3 plus 5 is equal to 5. It is output. And in case of PyTorch, tensor 1 2 3. So basically in case of this one, I'm just printing same array as it is. So this array is coming here. So just try to understand the syntax, how we play with the TensorFlow and PyTorch. So otherwise user struggle, oh what is the PyTorch, what is the TensorFlow. Here you can understand this is just a Python code, nothing else, just libraries we need to use from the PyTorch and TensorFlow. These are two separate framework. Either we will use TensorFlow or PyTorch. Now I'm going to explain you Flask and Django. Guys, Flask and Django are just two frameworks which is used to create the web development, API creation, which is like web API creation. So in case of, let's suppose I have created a model. Once the model is ready, I have to deploy somewhere. So there might, so many user interfaces are there. We can use Django, we can use Flask. Flask is mostly used for the lightweight web framework and mostly in the RESTful APIs, web APIs. Django framework is a framework which has many things all together, which is little heavy framework, but also have some, I have mentioned here, for the Django framework, we have authentication, which is inbuilt feature, ORM model, inbuilt feature, and admin interface. ORM model is a model which basically used to interact with the database. How we can interact with the database? Entire data schema can come to the application so that we can easily make the operations in the columns, rows, and we can insert, update, or delete, whatever the operations we want, we can do using the ORM model. And this feature is inbuilt feature into the Django framework. Okay, so mostly I was discussing about the model. Once the model is ready, let's suppose I have created a model. This model CLF is a model, guys. I will save this model in the computer, and I can use this model to get the prediction related to the iris data. In the same way, once in the industry we predict something, we have to create a model. Once the model is ready, we have to deploy the model somewhere, maybe AWS, Azure, or maybe on premises, maybe in your local computer, anywhere we have to deploy it. Once we will deploy it, we mostly take the use the Django and Flask. If Django Flask are not your management is not supporting Django Flask, you can use the Tableau, you can use Power BI, and any data visualization you can use to show the output of the model. Here Flask and Django I have explained you, but in the details I'll create one more video for the Flask and Django, how we can deploy the model using the Flask and Django. Let's suppose I deployed the model on the Flask. I will give the endpoint to the to any application, which might be application in any language, maybe Java, .NET, Python, any kind of application can be there. Though that application will pass the data through the web API. Web API will call the model, and the prediction output will go back to the API, and on the application we can show the output. Now let's move to the beautiful soup and scrappy. So this is nothing, this is just a web scraping. Read these instructions, I'll explain you. This is very important, guys. Nowadays mostly organizations are using e-commerce website to sell their products. But the problem is, let's suppose I'm selling a product in 10 rupees and somebody else is selling the product in 11. So definitely user will come to my website. I don't know how much is the profit in this one, but definitely user always compare the product. If the same brand they are getting in the cheap price from somewhere else, they will buy from there. So keeping all these things in the mind, we have to create a price comparison portal in our organization, and that portal will be every day fetching the data from others portal with the product name and price and other description. And also that same web scraping will extract the data from our portal and will compare and can give a user interface, then management can see, and after that they can decide to change the price. So these kind of services, this is one example. There are so numerous examples of the web scraping. For example, in your organization you need weather data. So weather data for different area, you can just directly do the web scraping from the weather website, and you can customize the data according your requirement. So web scraping we will discuss in detail. I have given an example so that easily you can understand. See, this is just example.com URL, and beautifying this one, let me run this program. So basically what this program will do, this program will fetch the data from this particular website through the given URL, and will show the text of the website, and after that we can customize the things according our requirement. So let's suppose this one page title, only I am getting here the page title. So because I don't want to show all the data, so only the title part I have taken here. The same we can take the body of the text, because HTML page has the header part, which is like a title, header, body. So all these things, if I will pass the body, we can get the body part, and further we can extract the useful information from the data, and we can create a dashboard or create a beautiful page where our management can see the data and can take the decision. Scrappy, this is what, okay, requests, using the request I have just fetched the data, but Scrappy also we can use the Scrappy to get the data from others website. Okay, now this is related to the web scraping. Now let's move to the OpenCV. OpenCV, what is the OpenCV? OpenCV is actually a library which is used in the computer vision. In the computer vision, a library, real-time computer vision and image processing. So this library, let's suppose I want to detect the object into the video, I will use the OpenCV library. OpenCV library is used to play with the videos and images. Let's move to the next one, support image, and this one work seamlessly with the NumPy area, of course. Now next is, see, let's suppose this one, I don't have this image in my system, but let's suppose if I have the image, this sample image, and I want to read this image, how we can read the image and can modify the image. There is very simple code, but keep in mind what is the OpenCV library and what is the use. It is used to detect the object from videos and images, and once I will go to the deep learning series, I will explain about the OpenCV, everything. PyTest and unit test. PyTest and unit test are the libraries which is used to test the application. Unit test to build the Python testing framework for writing and running tests. A third-party testing library that simplifies writing and organizing tests. Key features: support fixtures, parameterized testing, and plugins. So basically what does it mean? Once we have the application, usually we change the application when the new version go, version 1, version 2, version 3. That time we have to test the application, and the human cannot test the same thing every time when the new deployment is going to happen. So better we have to write a script, and PyTest and unit test are the Python library. We can leverage the advantage of these libraries to write the test cases. We just need to run the test cases, application will test uh, and will give the final result. If anything is not as per our expectation, we can fix it. So basically these libraries are the testing libraries. SQL Alchemy. This is the best library to interact with the database. This library, when we have the huge data might be into the Postgre database, MySQL database, SQLite database, MS SQL database, Oracle database, or any other database, we will use the SQL Alchemy library to make the connection with the database to fetch the data. Here I have mentioned some examples. So let's suppose this is the okay, SQL Alchemy, import, create engine, column, integer, string, all these things. And what after that, what I'm doing here, this is just a declarative base. So declarative base, this function I have used here, and this function create engine. So this is just a query connection string to this particular database. This is a test DB, which is SQLite database I'm using, which is already there in my system, and it come inbuilt with the Python. Create engine, session maker. So what I'm doing here, basically I'm just creating the connection to the database. Okay, in the next line, case user, this is base class, and I am doing here integer primary key is equal to true, and the column string and integer. So basically what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to create a data set which will insert into the database, which is ID, name, and age. In the next line, metadata, create all engine. So this one, new user, and user name is equal to Rahul, age is equal to 30, and this one I'm going to add this particular object into the same session, and this will enter into the test database. Just try to understand how it is going to happen. Okay, let me run this program. So Rahul 30 I have entered in this particular database. If I want to enter, let's suppose Sachin 25, I can add this thing easily, Sachin 25. So this one also have been added into my database. So in case, let's suppose if test data is not available, the system will automatically create it. Let's suppose I'm creating test 1, which is not in my database. Let me run this particular thing, Sachin 25, which is this one, will enter into the database. Let me run again, Sachin 25, another record entered into the database. So guys, that's it for now. I have explained you all the 10 topics which are the basic requirement of a data science. Just go through these topics and understand in the detail each of the topic. I promise you, each of the topic I'm going to explain in my upcoming videos, which will be specific to the data science and machine learning videos. But for now, do practice as more as you can do. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to subscribe my channel, share the video, and like the video.